Welcome to Thursday, 2 o'clock Coffee Corner. We are here at the E.J. Johnson Group. We're with Keller Williams Market Pro Realty. Oh, Naomi joined us. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
We were just discussing, I think we're a couple seconds late because we were talking about a video that we posted on our Facebook page. And it's the bison. And
no, I don't think we posted on our Facebook page.
Oh,
it was just a personal group in between us. I don't
that's
think
right. Okay. But have you seen this video? Because we were having this discussion, everybody had a different perception of what happened there.
We'll share the link in the comments.
Yeah, we'll share it after this video, so please be watching. So this touring, I don't know, they were touring. It looks like there's people walking in Yellowstone Park, and there's a bison, and he just looks up and he starts to charge the group. And this is where we all have a difference of opinion.
This is where we all have, an issue.
We
This
split
is
right
where
here.
we jump off. Some of us thought it was really sad. Some of us thought it was funny.
I might have thought it was funny.
I didn't say who.
I don't think it's funny that the girl because she got rammed, guys.
She
She
got
was
busted
So
So
here,
there.
let's back up. So the bison goes to charge this family where the parents go one way,
Parents
and then the
take off.
kid trails, and she looks like she's 12 or 14.
10.
I was
10.
going to say 6.
Oh, she's 14. Anyway, so she runs after them, and then anyways, the bison nails her, and she flies up in the air and falls down.
I think it's funny because one, she wasn't seriously hurt. If she was hurt, this would be a completely different situation. And second of all, as a parent, I can't imagine just taking off and leaving my child.
They grab their kid's hand, run with them, and then I watched the video, and I'm like, well, she should have ran the other way.
And me as a parent was like,
Clearly,
that
I
really
don't
happen?
have children, so.
Yeah. So we'll post the link in the comments of this video, and you guys can go watch it. Share your comments of it. If you've seen it, let us know what you thought and whether you thought it was funny or if it was a horrible video.
But anyways,
hi Danny,
back
hi
on track.
Blake.
Wilkerson, what up, Luke?
Everybody give us a wave.
Oh, not us.
No, we do the beauty queen. So anyways, we're back on our series. Well, I guess it's our new series. We talked a little bit about it last Thursday. It's hard to believe that it's Thursday. I'm really struggling with that.
Feels like it
we're
should be.
starting a new series, and it is the new construction series.
How do you spell that?
So today we're going to start off talking about representation, which is going to lead us into a little bit of the building process, and we're supposed to have a special guest. What did I miss?
We have a special guest.
I said we're supposed to. Let's see if he
I
actually
think
decides to
at
join.
the
He's watching us right now.
At the
so
7-minute mark, he's going to break in here, and we may not be ready, and he's going to be like, why aren't you ready? You
No,
said
he's
you're here at
watching.
7
He's
minutes.
watching us.
She's
So-
laughing at you right now.
I doubt it. I really somehow doubt it.
So tell us about representing builders, Mom, and what that means and why you do it, and the need of having an agent, and also just kind of the importance.
So, yes. So we represent a few builders, and we thank them all, and we have so much fun doing that. And it's not always fun, but it's work. But I think that, what we bring to the table is our ability to market their listings. We have a really great understanding
Of the process.
of that process.
Mhm.
It's talked about in our family a lot, maybe too much sometimes. So we bring a better understanding, or a really great understanding, that maybe someone else couldn't bring to the table. And in representing, we got some O's. I saw an angry face. That always distracts me.
Stay on task.
And when we get an offer from a buyer's agent or just a buyer in general, we really know what that builder expects.
But I want to interject. I think my main question is, and I think where there's I don't know if the word, what?
She looked at me and I smiled. I didn't know what I was supposed to do.
I feel like there are some, I don't know if this is the right word, discrepancies.
Okay.
In terms of, let's say you find a builder you really like and you don't have a buyer's agent,
Why you
Why
should have
you
a buyer's agent?
I think the real big conversation there is why you should have a buyer's agent. Why should you have someone
Especially if
represent
the
you?
builder has their license
That's-
and they're an agent.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. I really like that question because there is a lot of value into having someone represent you. They can that agent can act as your liaison between you and the builder. It'll help take a little bit of emotion out of the process if there is any, not saying there ever is, because they just make it more streamlined.
Mhm.
They know what the process is
Mhm.
because this is what they do every day. And that may not be your wheelhouse, right? You haven't bought and sold a lot of houses. And they're really going to help you think through the process and things that are coming up next. And hey, we've got a deadline to make this selection and so on and so forth. So I think it's really helpful always to have a realtor on your team.
And going back to the liaison part, like when you're speaking to a builder, someone who's in the trenches and doing all the work, it kind of is an interpreter also to a point when you're talking about terms and things like that, because it kind of helps, you can put it in layman's terms for the buyer and you can kind of help explain the process to them in a more simplified way that they'll understand it more than just the builder giving them information.
No, that's a really good point because we want the builder doing what he's supposed to be out there doing and focusing on meeting that completion date, that close date,
Yes.
and not getting so bogged down with some of the details. So it's really great for everyone to have representation.
And because it can kind of be like a second job. You know, that's something we talked about whenever we're talking about FSBOs too. It's like, you know, this process is something that we do all day, every day. Like, you know, it takes a lot of work and there are lots of different steps.
Yeah,
So.
I think that's an interesting conversation, and that may be something we talk about later, but I've heard, even from some of my friends who, you know, they'll think, well, what do you guys do?
Mhm.
And I'm like, what do we not do? That's
That's
always
a much easier way to
hardest
answer.
part. It's like, what do we not do? So Google isn't for everything, right?
Oh my gosh, that's like what I was thinking about this. Don't Google medical symptoms. When we were talking about this. It's like, how did you word it?
Because you're going to have cancer. It's going to be the worst thing ever.
You know, it's just
It's
like Googling, like,
doom and
what's the,
gloom.
how do I buy?
My
You know
head
what I
hurts.
mean?
I
My
have
head
a
hurts.
sniffle.
You have, yeah.
Yeah.
You've got the worst, you've got bird flu or something.
Right. Whooping cough.
And I think what's also cool is like usually when we've had those conversations or worked with those people, they always come back to us. And it's not always like about buying a house or
Hey.
Hey! Our special guest is here.
Yeah, no ads here. Please.
He dressed up for us today, y'all. He wore a really nice pearl snap. Newer pearl snap. They're
He
always
even brushed
pearl
his
snap.
hair.
Here, let's scoot this way a little.
Oh yeah, what's all for this?
Are you in here, bro?
We told you how to
Homie.
face for TV.
I take up 2 spots.
Facebook TV.
So we're really excited to be able to bring some of our clients in, and believe it or not, EJ is a client, so that's always interesting to keep it.
We harassed him first. Shocking.
I'm
Yeah.
low on the totem pole.
Well, I think that one of the things that he really likes to talk about, and he's good at all facets. He's also an agent, so that's always interesting too when you're representing a builder that's also an agent. But we want to talk about the building process. That's one of the things that Alexandra introduced at the beginning of Coffee Corner. And so, EJ, we bring you an offer on one of your houses, and it's not even sheetrocked. So we have a lot of things to process. How do you manage those things in doing that? And we're building custom houses. I mean, that process is long and varied. So I may be putting the cart before the horse, but I know you like to tell us all about it.
Well, the first thing to think about is not all realtors are created equal. The tough thing that I deal with is sometimes your agent's done a lot of research and they know kind of how you like to do business, and so they structure a deal that's mutually beneficial between the construction company and the homeowner. And then sometimes you get realtors that don't want to get involved and they write some stuff and it takes being dissected and actually rewritten so it makes sense for both the buyer and the seller, myself. So that's the first thing. But obviously comps are the biggest consideration that I have to keep in mind when I'm building in a new neighborhood, because I can't ruin my own comps, by taking something that's less than full asking price. And 95% of the home builders in Northwest Arkansas are going to be the exact same way. So that's nothing new. But, protecting the comparable properties is my biggest goal. And, obviously there are going to be some concessions on almost everything, whether it be a fence or refrigerator, some form of window treatment, additional landscaping. There's going to be some factor for most builders that they have built in to the deal that says, hey, we're going to give you X and you can use X however you want to do it. And if your realtor's good, they're going to figure out what X looks like ahead of time. And so if we structure a deal that doesn't waste anybody's time today, and we're getting into more and more multiple offer situations. So if your realtor is skilled, they're going to go do the work ahead of time, so you don't get into a situation where a seasoned agent beats you out just because they wrote a much better offer.
No, that's really good. So one of the questions that I have for you as a builder, how do you take the emotion out of the process? Anyone that knows EJ, this is a great question.
Well, because building a home or even buying one is just an emotional process.
It is.
It's somewhere you're going to spend the rest of your life, and I think that's the rewarding part for us, which is what you always taught me, is that that's where someone spends 90% of their time.
I take into consideration, I try to take into consideration everybody's emotions, because I'm fortunate enough that people pay me large sums of money to build their forever home. And, I don't take that lightly ever. And it's a really big deal for what we do. People buy my speculative homes that are only going to be here 2 years, and it's just a business transaction. And that's awesome. And then I have people that bring me 5,000 square foot plans and with 5 acres of land to say, hey, go buy me my forever home where I want to help raise my children and my grandchildren, and my heirs are going to deal with this property. And that's a pretty awesome responsibility. Now, taking the emotions out of it is tough, because typically the husband and the wife, if there's 2 married people, have to be on the same page, both financially and, when it comes to picking the stuff out. The toughest thing for me, and I explained it on the front end, is I'll gladly be your general contractor, but I can't be your marriage counselor. So if you and your spouse aren't on the same page fiscally, it's a pretty tough process, and that's when emotion really gets the better of some people. So as long as everybody's on the same page and we understand, hey, these are the budgets, and we're either going to take the mindset of we're going to go build the house for these budgets, or we're going to take the mindset of, money doesn't matter, and I build for both. And, sometimes everybody's really happy at the end, and sometimes people are like, wow, I wish I hadn't spent 20 grand at Lighting Emporium. Because it's really easy.
So easy.
It's so
really
easy. If you've ever been to Lighting Emporium, which I'm sure the majority of you listening to us or watching us today, you walk in and it's like,
You're like, oh, squirrel.
Yeah. Yes, it's
You literally have to walk in there with a plan. I know this from experience earlier this year. Okay, this is my budget, and this is what I need to do.
That's why the light
just
fixtures
stay
in my
away
house
from
are
all.
Lowe's. I walked
anything
into Lighting
shiny.
Emporium and said, "This isn't happening," and walked out.
Well, that's really good, because Alexandra, she remodeled a house, so she had a lot of selections to make, similar to anyone that's building a house.
Mhm.
You had to
And I
choose
had a
paint
budget.
and countertops
I had a
and
budget.
had a budget for every line item.
I think one thing we could also talk about, just to kind of wrap it up, would be one of my other question is, let's say someone walks in, because this is one thing I have a question as an agent. I know how to walk through a new construction home. Lance actually taught me how to do that. But let's say you have a buyer, say I have a buyer and I'm walking through this new construction home, we're showing it, and I come to you and I'm like, well, where are you guys in the process? Can they pick paint? Can they pick, you know what I mean? What does that process look like? Because I think that's a commonly asked questions for agents, for buyers, because they walk in and they're like, oh, well, this means I can pick out everything. But generally, you have a plan and you have things selected already.
So the quick answer is, a seasoned agent is going to call me and say, hey, where are you at today?
Mhm.
I'm going to say, okay, sheetrock is being installed today, which means the exterior's picked. I own the brick already. It's sitting somewhere in Northwest Arkansas on somebody's lot, and it's getting ready to get delivered. Cabinets are already ordered and they're coming in. So basically from that point on, you've got the pretty stuff. You've got paint, lights, tile, hardwood, landscaping, and that's what most people are the most concerned about. And so that's actually pretty easy. A seasoned agent will get in touch with the builder or the builder's realtor and say, hey, where are you guys at? What can I pick? And what is already selected? And then you review the allowance items with those folks. And if it all makes sense, then rock and roll.
We keep saying one.
So I think really quick, something that comes up in new constructions and in new construction, some of us understand that and some of us don't, are non-refundable deposits.
Yes.
So, I mean, that's a tough one for me because people, on a full-blown custom build, 90% of the time the folks are getting their own construction loan.
Right.
And so that's really not a big deal. I get a little bit of money, 1 or 2%, 3%, just to say, hey, let me go pay for my impact fees, permitting, soils work, stuff like that. So that's not that big a deal. Now, when you buy a speculative home and you say, okay, I'm going to go select all of the pretty stuff, I got to have a little bit of money just to say, hey, in case something catastrophic happens, you lose a job, get transferred, whatever, it's just enough money to where I can go change stuff to be able to sell the house.
If it's too
Like,
personalized,
If it's
Right.
too
we
personal.
get disco lights going or something, then
Well, and paint is
Yes.
getting more and more expensive, and some people want eggshell. And so when you start doing some specialty stuff like that, it costs me a bunch of money to go put it back in order to where.
You can put it on the market and sell it.
the typical buy in public, that's not what's moving them today. So I think that's what we're saying here, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a CYA, cover your ankle. I was told I couldn't curse. I just have
Thank you.
to have
We
enough,
appreciate it.
I just have to have enough money to make sure in the event something catastrophic happens that we're cool.
So I have a question.
Naomi.
Before you came in, we were talking about agent representation for the buyer. On the builder side of that, what do you appreciate when a buyer comes to you with an agent and it's not just a buyer like by themselves? Like we talked about how an agent helps relieve the builder of a little bit of that agent work. Do you appreciate that when a buyer comes to you and they have an agent and you're not having to also do all of that side of the work too?
I love this question.
I know, I'm really excited.
No, I mean, that's a special circumstance for me because I'm a total control freak. So I want to be in charge of the whole thing, and it really doesn't matter who the agent is. But seasoned agents that we've done deals with for 20 years, it's no big deal. They know me, they know how we operate, so we just rock and roll. New agents, I think it's a great chance for them to learn a lot because
Absolutely.
I try and give them the time. Obviously we're in the real estate business also, so I'm going to give that person as much time as they want. And if they want to turn it into a real learning experience, if they're going to put the effort in, I'll put the effort into them to help them make this the best possible scenario possible, because the buyers do rely on their agents a bunch, and they're relying on if they're moving here from Minneapolis from Target, then they're not going to be here. So you can go by and take pictures and just check in with me once a week, once every 2 weeks, and just say, hey, how are we doing? Are we on schedule? And stuff like that. We had the wettest year we've had in recorded history this
Oh my
year.
gosh.
Weather has absolutely killed us, but we haven't missed a closing date yet. But it's been
Did you go a few times?
I've been waiting around for Todd Pennington a few times to see when the extreme home makeover starts on a couple of these. But
So I forgot to tell you that we whisper that T. It's
Oh yeah, we have to whisper
we
it.
whisper.
Okay, I have the last question. How do you feel about your real estate agents?
Oh wow! I didn't know this question was going to happen.
This is a really good
Wow! I didn't know this question was going to happen.
y'all will never.
You all kept this one from me on purpose. I would have mixed it.
I am married to my real estate agent, so.
And it's rainbows, lollipops, and unicorns
I mean,
every day.
Every day.
I mean, she'll never be Mesa Harris, but I'm just kidding.
I know it somehow circulates to me.
No, I collectively have the best team in Northwest Arkansas without question. I mean, we put more effort into the buying and the selling process. I'll put my 3 ladies up against any 3 in Northwest Arkansas, hands down. If you don't like it, I'll show you the numbers.
You come. No.
Well, I think that one of the things I learned in corporate America, and a lot of you out there the same thing. You spend the money as if it were your own.
Mhm.
And so I look at it absolutely when I'm representing my client. It's like I'm with you. I'm walking with you. So that's a really great answer. But
You could be on
I'm
the
going to
big
try
pageant.
really hard to aspire.
He could be like the next Miss America, Megan style. Oh, who knows? They might be able to run for that someday.
Did you get your beard trimmed for today?
I like that he just checked it out. He's like, I did. It looks pretty good.
I'm starting to look homeless.
I don't know about that. Anyway, so
Kara said hi. Thanks for tuning in, Kara.
Kara, EJ in the house. Yes, EJ in the house.
Donna Lamb's joining too, and a whole bunch of other people.
So EJ, I know that one of the other things besides building houses and real estate, there's something else that you like to talk about as much as that. Maybe more some days. I'm like, what are we doing today?
Might be something that we're doing later tonight.
So,
Am I catching it?
Are we doing anything tonight? Like, are we gonna go? What's going on tonight?
Well, I mean, the live music calendar for the next 3 nights is,
If you're on the email string, you know.
and if you're not,
If you want to
If
be
you're
on
not,
the
you
email
can be
string,
added.
let us know.
I'm not even on the email string.
if you're not,
Well, that's because you're right here. You hear it every day.
we're going to see our buddy Casey Donahue tonight in Fayetteville, and then Peacemaker Festival in Fort Smith. Big deal. This is the 5th year. It's totally revamped. Our buddy William Clark Green is playing on Friday. Josh Abbott
Shout
playing
out.
on Friday night. Shout out to our friends. Saturday night, if you're a Yellowstone fan, one of my man crushes, Ron Bingham, is playing. So
But didn't Casey have a song that's on Yellowstone?
Casey Donahue had a
Yeah.
song on Yellowstone, one song on his new album that's getting ready to come out. So that's a really big deal. But no, I mean, we love live music. We try to incorporate our clients in that. I mean, Kara is a prime example of somebody that, we just started inviting to stuff. She tried to I tried to build her a house, but she couldn't pull the trigger.
Kara, he's calling you out.
She's from Texas, so we invited her some stuff, and now we were like 8 and 9 until she moved.
Then she left us.
But anyways,
That face.
no, we do a lot of live music, and that'll probably never change.
Shout out to my brother who flew in for
Lucero.
Whoa.
You can do it.
Yes, he came all the way from California by way of Texas. So it's gonna be a fun weekend. Well, I guess that wraps up part 1 of our series. Thanks to everyone who tuned in. I know most of everyone is tuning in to see the big guy.
Everyone's shocked.
We talked about him for months, and now
We
he's
did.
here.
We will be having
Thanks
some.
for radio.
We will be having some other guests join us on this series. And as we sit here and think, I think there's a couple of places where we can expand this series. So y'all have a great weekend.
Make sure that you are.
Our giveaway.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
It's okay. So speaking of live music that EJ kind of mentioned, at our client event that we're having next Saturday, guys, out in Scissortail, we are having Will Brand. He's going to be playing live for us. We're going to have a taco bar.
Yeah.
Have some
Fajita-
yummy
fajita
bar,
bar, right?
a fajita
Fajita.
bar, some drinks, some pool time,
Margaritas.
margaritas. Got a keg,
Pinatas.
local wine,
We're gonna have
pinatas.
2 pinatas.
We have an adults only pinata and a kids pinata. So I
Adult
mean,
only pinata will be close to the end of the night.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's like
It's full of mini fireball bottles.
after party.
It probably will be.
It might be.
But that is going to be next Saturday. So guys, if you haven't heard from us yet and you're one of our clients, please reach out and say, hey, where's my invite so we can give you a special VIP invite. We think we've reached everyone, and if we haven't touched you yet, it's just because we're saving the best for last.
Well, or it's in your spam.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
or
right.
it might be.
And also, we've got a huge giveaway going on Facebook right now. It ends next Wednesday, the 31st. So make sure you guys are liking the Horton Homes page on Facebook and Instagram, the Lance Johnson Building Company page on Facebook and Instagram, and all the other pages that are in that post. You guys are going to be entered to win a $704 value for Splash for 1 year all-inclusive pass.
That's
the
super
jam.
special because
That's
if
the
you
jam.
haven't been to Splash NWA and had your car cleaned,
It's
it's phenomenal.
Amazing.
And they are now the only car wash in, is it Arkansas or Northwest Arkansas? I feel like it's Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas they have a ceramic
Oh,
dryer thing. It makes your car shine. My car looks
It's
really pretty
amazing.
right now.
have you guys all tried that? Like,
Yes.
I'm behind.
I did
I
it the
was
day
just-
they announced
I
it.
was just there the other day, so did they do that to my car?
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you go through that? It's the red light at the end. It lights up your car because it goes over. It like
I
holds
don't
in the
know.
shine or something.
She was probably on her
Text.
phone. Anyways,
okay. She was in neutral.
thank you so much. We will see you again here at the EJ Johnson Group. We're with Keller Williams Market Pro Realty next Thursday, 2 o'clock Central. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.